Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to check out this walkthrough of how to build a bass guitar mix using this Behringer P16 inner unit. I'm going to approach this from scratch, and I encourage you to start each mix from the starting point. If you'd like a more detailed explanation of how to set things up from the starting point, be sure to check out our controls overview tutorial. But other than that, let's go ahead and start building the mix. So the main thing that I want to do before I'm even starting to build my mix, before I've plugged the headphones in, is I can go ahead and go to this unit, and I want to turn everything down to 0. So as I'm coming through these, I'm making sure that nothing else is going to be having signal. And what this does is it makes sure that we are setting our specific instrument, which in this case is going to be the bass guitar, up for success. We're going to have plenty of volume for ourselves, and then we're going to make sure that we're not driving things so much that we are damaging our ears. So the first thing that we've done is obviously zero things out. After that, I'm going to make sure that my masters are set to the correct level. So I'm going to select this main button. Notice that that is all the way up. So we want to make sure that that's done first. After that, we want to make sure that our master level is at least close to 75%. And this, again, this is all helping us have success in dialing in this mix. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start cueing some tracks. And we're going to start building a mix. So let's start with our instrument first, in this case, the bass guitar. So I'm going to bring this up to a level that feels healthy, that I'm not overdriving anything, it's not hurting my ears, and that's going to help us. We're going to use that as accountability for the rest of our mix. So notice that I'm getting good level here, and I'm not having to turn that up very much. I'm going to turn this back down for a minute. The reason that I can do that is that when we sound check, we want to make sure that we're checking at the same volume we're going to be playing live with. And then when we put our gain structure with our mains where they are, the master level where it is, this allows us to have plenty of room to move this this volume up and down, so that we're not having to turn everything up, and then by the end of your mix you're turning more things up and you still can't hear yourself. This is going to help us keep everything headroom on that and balance. So let's go ahead and bring our bass back in, and we'll continue to build the rest of the mix. Okay, so that's feeling pretty good, so I can hear myself well. Next thing that I want is I'm going to bring some click in. Okay, and then what we're also going to do is, being the rhythm section, we're going to bring our drums in. And what we're making sure here is we're making this bass. I'm going to go ahead and bring these volumes. Well, I'm going to pause our track for a second. What we're making sure as we build this mix, we're keeping our bass channel our accountability set point. So I don't want to have to continually move this throughout my entire set. I want to make sure that that's what I'm basing everything off of. I've set that from the very beginning, what loudness I want my total ear mix to be. I don't want it to ever exceed that point. And so we have, that is our accountability point. As I bring things in, nothing should ever compete with what my instrument is, because I've already set that. And so we're going to make sure that everything we bring in is sitting right underneath that. Let's bring our tracks back in. The other thing that we may want to base ourselves off of is the keys, so we can make sure our chord changes are following suit. And then outside of that, we want to make sure that we're following what the worship leader is doing. And so we can go ahead and start bringing in some of our vocal channels. So you can do this with the lead vocal especially, but let's go ahead and bring all of our vocals up so that we're not changing that much throughout the entire set. So that's a little much, so I'm going to bring that down. I'm just wanting some context here. I don't need to hear this primarily as my main instrument. Bring some additional vocals in. So I can have the context of what's going on. Now to fill out what's going on, I may add a little bit of other instrumentation to fill out what the rest of my bandmates are doing. So let's bring some electric in. Guitar too. So if I turn this up too much, I've lost everything. So let's go ahead and bring that back down to where, again, we're keeping our accountability point, our instrument, something that we're not going to overdrive. And then to give ourselves a little more realism, we can go ahead and bring some room mics in, which we have an aux 4 here. And again, I'm going to push this too much and we're going to come back. So you'll hear how that completely washed out my whole sound. Let's bring that back to where it fits in the mix. So with this mix here, I'm going to go ahead and pause these tracks. So with that mix there, we're able to make sure that we maintain headroom. We're not ever going to overdrive our mix to where it's too much in our ears. We can set our master volume wherever we want kind of that mix to live. And then we're able to make sure that we can hear everything going on stage. We can flow as we need to. And that's also going to benefit us with not having to, as the set goes on, we're not going to have to be changing much because we have everything in its own space and everything has enough headroom to kind of, breathe a little bit if things are driving. If things go softer, we're still able to hear the keys because that's going to drive softer points. Vocals are going to drive softer points. Our room mics are going to let us know how the room's responding, which is going to prevent us from feeling so isolated with ears in. And then another thing that's a bonus with this is having both ears in. If we want to take advantage of some of the stereo imaging happening, which is different channels are dedicated to the left ear and to the right ear. For guitars, for instance, for drums, some of the effects, some of the room mics, those things are giving us imaging in our ears, and we miss out on a lot of that if we don't have both of those ears in. So that's another helpful tip. Thanks for checking this out, and if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our staff. We'll see you guys soon.